What's up, church family? Hey, so here's the deal. As we begin, I want to take us back to the glory days of 1985. Back to the Future is the #1 movie in America. Queen and REO Speedwagon and Eric Clapton and Tom Petty, so many others are rocking out the stage at Live Aid. The Chicago Bears are Super Bowl champions. Where's my Bears fans at? Yeah. Sorry about all the suffering since then for you all. Hey, and to depress all of us, listen, the average monthly rent in the United States is $325 per month. How about that? Yeah, that just hurts my soul. One lesser known aspect of 1985 was a breakthrough study by a man named David Meister. He was a business consultant who studied things like customer satisfaction and service design, and why all of us unite together in our universal hatred of one thing in particular: waiting, right? And in particular, waiting lines. His published work called The Psychology of Waiting Lines would ultimately go on to be the blueprint for places like airports and hospitals and restaurants and theme parks, and how they manage and tackle the reality of waiting and all the really fun things that come along with it, like discouragement and boredom and frustration, right? Like up to this point, the MO had been, hey, how do we innovate in a way to shorten waiting lines or to make the waiting experience go quicker? But what's interesting is David asked a really profound question, and it's this: what if the problem isn't just the wait itself, but instead how the wait feels? Said another way, how do we wait well? I think that's so interesting. The article went on to lay out a number of psychological truths associated to waiting that has revolutionized waiting in the modern world. For instance, David noticed that occupied time feels shorter than unoccupied time. We understand this, right? Time goes faster when we're not thinking about the waiting itself. This is why, for instance, we have mirrors on elevators. It's so that you can be distracted by your reflection instead of seeing how slow the elevator's moving. How about this? People tolerate waits better when they know how long they'll be waiting. This is why at the DMV you get a little slip that says you're number 72. So you can at least emotionally prepare for the fact that you're gonna die of old age before your name gets called. He also noticed that people are willing to wait longer for things they believe to be worth it. Maybe you know a crazy person who pitched a tent on the sidewalk and stayed up all night for new tech that was coming out to be released. Or people that wait in line for hours for their venti macchiato with oat milk. In fact, next time you're at the dentist and maybe you're sitting there anxious about the cavities that they might find, and all of a sudden you look up and there's another rerun of Friends on the waiting room TV to distract you, you can thank David Meister. But what's ultimately important for us to see is that the psychology of waiting lines, it didn't just change waiting, it ultimately revealed something that's deeply true about us as humanity, especially in our microwave culture of instant answers and overnight shipping and real-time updates. It's this: we don't just hate waiting, we hate meaningless waiting or uncertain waiting. Or we hate what we perceive to be as unfair waiting or empty waiting. And listen, if all of that is true when you're standing in line at Target, how much more true is that when you are waiting on something from God? Maybe waiting for answered prayer, or waiting for clarity, or for that relationship to heal, or for the pain to come to an end. Or maybe it looks like praying for peace. As we see more and more violence in our world as now Israel and Iran lock in combat. Or, as Peter's gonna talk about today, waiting for the end of waiting itself.